If you're watching this right now, there's a very good chance that you can build almost anything. You've spent the last 6, maybe 12 months getting really good at this. You know N8N, you've sat up with Claude Code until 2 o'clock in the morning. You've mastered voice agents in VAPI and retail. You can spin up a lead qualification workflow in your sleep, and you still don't have a single client paying you real money. And here's the part that's gonna sting a little. The reason why you're stuck is probably the exact same thing that you're most proud of. The better that you've gotten at the technical side, the worse you've gotten at the one thing that actually closes deals. And I know that sounds completely backwards, so stay with me because I'm going to show you the exact moment that I figured this out. And it's the moment that my bank account finally started to change. I was you a year and a half ago. I had a Google Drive stuffed with beautiful demos and had made exactly $0 with AI. I remember staring at the ceiling at night, technically skilled and dead broke, telling myself that I just needed to get a little bit better and then the money would come. Then I closed a $6,000 client on a system I had never built before in my entire life. And the reason I closed it is the exact thing that I'm going to show you today. Because once you get this, you can go do the same thing. You don't have to wait. You can start this week. I help builders and freelancers become AI consultants who close 4- and 5-figure projects and retainers. If you want to land your first or next AI client, you can take part in the 4-week challenge inside of my free school community of like-minded people, where you'll find a free course that's honestly better than most paid courses out there, and you'll get direct one-on-one access to me for whatever questions you might have. The link is down below. All right, so let's dive in. So here's what I see happening every single day. Somebody gets good at AI, and because they're smart, they assume the path to getting paid is getting smarter. So they learn the next tool. They go deeper on the new model the day it drops. They rebuild the same workflow for the 3rd time to make it even cleaner. And honestly, it feels great because you know you're getting genuinely good at a hard skill that most people don't know how to do. But let me ask you something, and I want you to actually answer this in your head right now. How much money have all of those skills made you so far? And how many real business owners have you had an actual conversation with in the last 30 days? Not followed on LinkedIn, not liked their post, actually talked to about their business. For most of you watching, the honest answer is a whole lot of skill and almost no conversations. And I'm not judging you because that was literally me. I could build the thing. I just kept making the thing better instead of selling it. And I told myself that I was preparing, but I was hiding. And here's the part that nobody warns you about. When you finally do get in front of a business owner, all of that technical knowledge flips on you and becomes a liability because your instinct is to prove it. You get on the call and you start explaining the architecture. You mention the webhook. You walk them through how the workflow routes the data and which model you picked and why. And in your head, you're building trust. You're showing them that you really know your stuff, but watch their face the next time you do it. Their eyes go flat. They start nodding too fast because every word that you say that they don't understand is a word that reminds them that they're confused. And confused people do not pull out a credit card. They say the one thing that every one of you has heard 100 times. This is great, let me think about it. And then they ghost you. So why do we lead with the tech when some part of us knows that it isn't landing? I'll tell you why. Because I did it for months. Explaining the build feels safe. If you spend the whole call proving how much you know and then they still say no, you get to walk away telling yourself that they just didn't get it. It protects your ego. Leading with the tech is the hiding move. The same way that taking one more course is the hiding move. Underneath it, you're scared. Scared they'll say no. Scared that you'll quote $3,000 and they'll laugh in your face. So you reach for the thing that you feel most confident about, which is the tech. And the tech is the exact thing that's costing you the sale. Okay, so let me tell you about the one call that broke this entire thing open for me. And here's why this story is a little bit different. In this one, I was the one who didn't know the tech yet. So this was early on for me. I got connected to an accountant that needed an automated system built. And there was one piece that she would not budge on. She handles incredibly sensitive client information, tax documents, social security numbers, the kind of records that ruin lives if they get out. All of it has to live on a secure server that she controls, not floating around in some random cloud tool. If the data ever leaked, it could end her entire practice. Now here's my problem. The build meant setting up a server for her on a host called Contabo, and I had never heard of that or ever done that in my entire life. I knew that I could figure it out eventually, but in that moment, I couldn't have explained the technical side to save my life. I literally didn't even know the right words for half of it. The old me, the one who thought that sounding smart was the whole job, would have crammed the night before and walked into that call rattling off things like VPS and SSH and firewall rules to prove that I knew my stuff. But I couldn't because I genuinely didn't know that stuff yet. So here's what I actually did. The morning before our call, I opened up Claude and asked it one simple thing. Give me a super high-level breakdown of how a secure server setup would work for an accountant, in plain English with no jargon. And it gave me the simple, high-level version. Then I got on the call, and that was exactly what I said to her. I told her, okay, think about it like this. Right now, your client's files are sitting in a shared building where other people have keys to the door. What I'm going to do is move everything to a private vault that only you have the keys to. Nobody else can get in. It stays completely under your control, and it meets the standard that you're legally on the hook for. That was it. That was the entire technical explanation that I gave her. And you know what she said? She said, this is exactly what I need. When can you start? And I charged her $6,000. Then I went home, figured out the actual server setup, the exact part I'd been nervous about, and built the whole thing. But that's not the part that matters. What matters is what happened on the call. The thing that I thought was my weakness, that I couldn't get technical because I didn't know how yet, was the exact reason that I closed her. I had no choice but to speak in plain language that she understood. If I had known all the server jargon, I promise you I would have used it, and I probably would have lost her. This was the first time that I really understood that being hyper-technical is a disservice to the buyer. It doesn't impress them, it confuses them, and a confused buyer doesn't say yes. Because here's what finally clicked for me. They don't buy the tech. They buy a problem that disappears. My accountant did not want to understand servers, or what a VPS even is. She wanted to know that her client's files couldn't get stolen, and that she would never be the one explaining a data breach to them. That's it. The second I started describing the vault instead of the server, I made the whole thing about her. And that's when people say yes. Sit with what that means, because that really should take some pressure off. You do not need to be the best builder on the planet. You don't even need to fully know how you're gonna build it yet. I sure didn't. You just need to know a little bit more than the person that you're helping. And you need to say what you do in one plain sentence that a normal human understands. The business owner that you're about to help has never heard the word VPS. She has no idea what a webhook is, and she does not care. She has a problem that scares her or costs her money, and she wants somebody to just make it go away. Can you understand that problem and make it go away? If you've been building for even a few weeks, the answer is already yes for at least one kind of problem. This right here is the difference between getting paid $50 an hour to set up a server and getting paid $6,000 to take something off somebody's plate that was keeping them up at night. It's the same exact work. The only thing that changed was what came out of my mouth. And now let me be really direct with you, because I say this with love. While you are out planning to learn your next tool, somebody who can't build half of what you can build is out there closing the client you wanted. And it's not because they're smarter than you, it's the opposite. They didn't scare the buyer. Think about my story for a second. I closed a $6,000 deal on a server setup that I had never done, while people who could have configured that thing in their sleep were home perfecting demos that nobody asked for. They knew way more than me. I just got in the room and kept it simple. I have people in my community that joined a few months ago, barely even knowing what AI was, and they've already closed their first $2, $3, $5,000 project. Meanwhile, I talk to brilliant builders almost every day who've been sitting on the sidelines for over a year, getting broker and broker, because they treat this like it's an engineering problem when it's a conversation problem. One real conversation with a business owner teaches you more in a week than 6 months of tutorials, because she will tell you exactly the thing that keeps her up at night and what she would pay for you to fix it. And you can't get that from a course. That's free market research. And you're leaving it on the table every week that you hide behind your screen. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Lindsay, are you telling me to dumb it down? To hide what I actually know and just wing it on the call? No. That's not what I'm saying at all. The technical skill is the easy part, and you already have enough of it. Behind the scenes, you build it right. You make it solid and reliable, just like I did when I got off that call. But in the conversation, you lead with the outcome and keep the engineering to yourself. Knowing your stuff and showing off your stuff are two completely different things. The real pros know everything and say almost none of it. Okay, so I've called you out. You probably feel a little bit seen right now, maybe a little bit attacked, hopefully both, but I'm not gonna just leave you here without a plan. Here is exactly what I want you to do. And I mean actually do it, not just bookmark it and then feel productive for 10 seconds. Step 1, pick one type of business and commit to it for the next 30 days. Dentists, HVAC companies, med spas, roofers, gyms, accountants, real estate agents. Just pick one. Here's why this matters so much. When you talk to 10 accountants in a row, by the 5th one, you sound like you've been doing this for years. You hear the same complaints over and over. You start using their exact words, and you stop sounding like a generalist with a chatbot. Think about it like a steakhouse versus a buffet. A steakhouse charges $60 $40 for one perfect cut of meat. A buffet gives you 24 ounces of low-key nasty food for $15. When you specialize, you charge more, you deliver faster, and you close way more often. So pick a niche where one customer is worth real money to them. If your system saves them a real headache or even brings them 2 to 3 additional customers per month, you've paid for yourself 10 times over. And that math is what makes your price a no-brainer. Step 2. Pick a problem and write it down in their words, with a $sign or a real fear attached, and not a single tool name anywhere in it. I'd start with one of these because they're the easiest to explain and the easiest to demonstrate value on. Missed calls, where they lose leads because they're on a job and their phone goes to voicemail. Slow follow-up, where leads come in and then just sit there for hours or days before they respond. Or a dead database, where they have hundreds or thousands of past customers that they haven't talked to in months. Notice I just described all of those to you without naming a single platform. That right there is the skill that you actually need. If you can't explain what you fix without saying the word N8N, you're not ready for the call yet. Step 3. Send 10 messages today. Here's the kind of message that actually works, and I want you to steal it word for word. You say, "Hey, I work with home services companies to help them stop losing leads to voicemail. I noticed that a couple of your reviews mentioned slow callbacks. I build a system that answers every call and follows up in seconds. And the businesses that I've done this for are capturing the leads that they used to lose completely. Would you be open to 15 minutes this week to see if this would make sense for you?" That's the entire thing. No pitch deck and no fancy funnel. And notice, there's not even one mention of a tool anywhere in that message. The second you say N8N or large language model, you've just made it about your tech instead of their money. And here's the move that actually closes the call. When you get on the phone, you put it in terms of time and money. You say, "So you're spending about 5 hours a week chasing leads by hand. If your time is worth $100 an hour, that's $500 a week. Over a year, that's $24,000 that you're spending on this one problem. If I build you something that wipes all of that out, paying $2,000 for the setup pays for itself within the first month." When you do the math out loud for them, the price stops being scary and it starts being obvious. And notice, I still never told them about how it works. They don't care how it works. They care about the 24 grand. So look, a year from now, you're going to be one of two people. You're either going to be the smartest broke builder that you know, with a Google Drive full of gorgeous demos and a bank account that looks exactly the same as it does today. Or you're going to be the person with real clients paying you every single month. And the difference between those two people is not how much more AI that you learn between now and then. You already know enough. I promise you, you know enough right now to solve a real problem for a real business owner. The only difference is whether you continue to hide behind how much you know or get out of your own way, lead with the problem, and send the message. And that's the thing that I figured out on that call with that accountant. The moment I stopped trying to sound smart and started sounding useful, everything changed. I closed a $6,000 client on something that I had never built before, just by keeping it simple enough for her to actually say yes. So, if you want to land your first or next AI client, you can take part in the 4-week challenge inside of my free school community of like-minded people, where you'll find a free course that's honestly better than most paid courses out there, and you'll get direct one-on-one access to me for whatever questions you might have. The link is down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.